Hey there. Today I'm going to remake a pattern that I recently did because I didn't do it on video and I didn't show you guys how it works. So I want to be able to show you how it happens. Hopefully this goes through pretty smoothly. I don't know. But I think it's important for you to see how some patterns are created from scratch. That way you guys can do this yourself. So let's get to it. Hello and welcome. This is Kevin, also known as AKAAWOL, and today I am going to remake a pattern that I did. I think as far as you seen it, that was yesterday. So okay. The problem was things weren't lining up the way I wanted it to do. I now know that these squares right here will be exactly like that. But I want to show you how I sorted this pattern out. It's basically supposed to look like two braids coming down and they cross over here in the middle. So it's off by one as far as the middle goes, but this is how I did it. Now, why is this square red and I didn't color in any of the other ones? Is because if you have two red strings coming into a space, there is no choice but for that square to be red. And recognizing that makes it a whole lot easier when you're trying to sort out a pattern. So the next one, let's do orange. So I did the orange above it. Now, at this point, like I said, I'm trying to kind of recreate what happened. At this point, it's a case of I'm just putting in the underlying strings. I don't know what's going to end up on the surface. I know that once it gets, back to the center line here, it bounces again, right? And that up here, we are crossing it over to get to the other side. So this is exactly what I did. Underlying strings will dictate a lot of your pattern making. And if you know kind of how you are going to design it, if you have certain basic rules set up of what it is you're trying to accomplish, and you can do this kind of thing. Now, mind you, this only uses two knots. It's a left and a right. That's it. It doesn't do the forward back or the backward forward or left right right left, whatever you want to call those. It just goes along in nice straight rows. So again, this makes it a little bit easier when you're trying to sort out the pattern. And let's grab the red, bring the red down here. And you can see, oh, it does do backward forward. I'm sorry, it does do backward forward because in the center part here, it bounces back. So yes, it does. I'm mistaken. And again, you know there has to be a red right there. It has to be because two reds coming into a point, it's a thing. Okay, so we worked the red down a ways. Let's bring the yellow down some as well. So yeah, this is kind of almost an easy pattern to make. It just took a little bit extra work in designing it. And again, we're putting the hot colors on one side and the cold colors on the other. So here we've pretty much worked out where these colors travel through. Again, it bounces off the center there. This is obviously a yellow. And that will be a yellow. Okay, so now the colors are going the other direction. We have a blue. And these, again, are traveling all the way across. And this will go up. And again, I fill it in wherever they cross over because that just has to be the way that that is. Bring the blue down this way. Now, when I first tried to do this with the other pattern, the way the two colors, well, the way the 6 colors sort of interact with each other, they were all off by 1 row. By putting this center bits down like this, we have made sure that everything is aligning where this row is lined up perfectly with this row. The next color was purple, and I did that above the blues. And just 2 rows, and you can see now we go from blue to purple, and then the yellow is over here. So that's part of like where they all do their changing and stuff. Now, when I was first doing this, I wasn't sure. I thought maybe somehow the braid would be a little bit different, but then, whoops, the epiphany came that in the middle it would look a little bit more like a weave, like the two groups of strings were woven together, and that sort of set things right. So I'll show you that in a second here. You can see we're getting way ahead with all of the colors. Okay, so we have the purple, blue. The next one would be the green. And put those in going all the way up. So you can see blue, the green, blue, and then purple make their way across from one side to the other. And this is exactly what I did. This is exactly how I sorted it all out. Putting in the squares where I knew that, you know, this has to be here. By putting that in advance, it makes sure that I don't make mistakes that I could make otherwise, right? I don't want to try having that square be a color that it can't be. So working out the ones that are obviously have to be a thing into a thing, like, yeah, that's, it just helps along the way. I didn't bring the purple up here, so kind of bear with me while I try to get these going. Okay, so back to the green, going the other direction. So, and again, you can see that everything is lining up in such a way that there is no gaps. There is none of this light blue color in between all these underlying strings. The colors just go from one set to the next. And again, that's kind of important because yeah, it just is. I don't know how to explain that. There has to be a string for each one of these things. Each one is essentially here accounted for. So yeah. We didn't bring the blue down. So now the fun part is, because we already know where all the undercolors are, we can actually see that. We can choose out of the two colors coming in, which color will be the one that the knot is created with. Does that make sense? Each knot comes from one of these underlying strings. So in this case right here, we have a blue and we have a purple. This knot can only be blue or purple. That simple. So now when in pattern creation is about deciding which of those two colors makes the most sense in that particular space. So, and remember, we're trying to do this braided look, right? So let's go back up here to where the red is. We know that the red is right here. So if we want that braid to happen there, right? And then we have the yellow that's coming this way, and the orange is going this way. So see, we're already into the braid portion. Now this orange has to come all the way across, and this red has to come all the way across. Down here we're doing the braid again. That looks right. All right, so the red, we could potentially make this whole one big red stripe going across, but that's kind of not what we're trying to do, right? So as you can see, the choice is yellow or red. We're choosing the yellow. The red comes down again. There. So now they have the same blocks as the original pattern as there. So now let's see what we have. We have this blue coming in over here, right? That looks right. We have this green going up this way, and the purple here. And it continues to do its thing this way. Right? Right. So the purple, oh no, let's take that back. Something's wrong with this. I'm going to back this up a bit because something is wrong and I can't put my finger on it. Because the way that the yellows, okay, these should always end up with the 6th thing going on. Whoops. And the way I had it, that wasn't happening. So fortunately, all the underlying strings are still the same. It's just a case of figuring out what's different. So if the blue comes this way, it's the orange here, and the orange here. So we put the green here for the braid. And the blue the green has to be, whoops. The green has to interlock here. It's either green or yellow, right? And it can't be the yellow. So the green has to be here. Okay. And then the purple comes this way. There we have it. And now the blue goes that way and the red comes here. Alright, so the red does what it's supposed to do. Takes over one square, still ends up being 6 little blocks. Alright. See, these things aren't that easy. Even like knowing how I went into it, it still takes some doing. Alright. So the purple goes over that. Yellow is here. This is green. This is yellow. This is blue. Right. There. So it's a matter of just finding out where how much of this is woven. So now these oranges are coming back this way. This yellow is coming. Is that right? No. The orange comes this way. The yellow comes down here. The blue comes this way. The green comes this way. There. So we're back on course for just doing the braids. So that was it. That's what I wanted to show you guys today, was how sorting out. And mind you, the whole like running into a problem, didn't expect it, but it shows that sometimes bracelet design is incredibly complicated, and it takes looking at it and sorting it through, and there you have it. So yeah, you have the cold colors on the left, they all cycle over and become on the right, and the same with the other. And at this point now, it's just a matter of following the strings up, and yeah. So hopefully you've learned something here. Hopefully this excites you and you can sort out your own complicated pattern. And yeah, whatever you come up with, I would love to see it. You can join us over on Discord. We share a lot of our creations and stuff over there. It's I think it's kind of easier than trying some of the other social medias for sharing, especially if you want to have your work show up in one of my videos as an example. You can go ahead and let me know over there and we can do that. All right, thanks for hanging out with me this long. Hopefully you enjoyed that. Special thanks to all my Patreon supporters to make this stuff possible. Thank you for liking and subscribing, and please leave a comment. Tell me what you think. All right, have a good one, and as always, don't get your strings in a bunch.